Hello and welcome to Ticket to Life. This is Henry, and I hope that you are doing well wherever you are and that you have great plans for today. And continued listeners, what do you think about that new music? I thought it was time to change it. My husband heard the other music for the intro and he goes, "That's really long and it's repetitive." I liked it. So anytime you hear drums, think of my dad because he was a drummer and I always like to include the drums in that. So that's just something I put together on GarageBand. But anyway, hello and welcome to Ticket to Life. I am Henry. As I said a while ago, I'm not going cuckoo and repeating myself. I thank you for taking your precious time and making time for me. Today, we will be talking about the best time of the year for so many. And by that, I mean the holidays. How was your Thanksgiving? Or how is your Thanksgiving? You should probably be hearing this on Thanksgiving Day, unless you're hearing it later on. I hope if you are listening to it for Thanksgiving that it's you plan to be with family and friends, or if you plan to be by yourself, or if you plan to just watch the Macy's Day Parade, because I know I always have it on. I hope you have a blessed day. I hope you are thankful each and every day. I like to say you don't have to have a special day to be thankful for all that you have. Do you agree? Agree to disagree, whichever. But anyway, I hope that you do have a wonderful day. If you are listening on Thanksgiving Day, um, the next thing is the holidays are coming. I mean, they're here. They're here. So today, again, we will be talking about, to me, one of the best times of the year. And for so many, it's dreaded. But I do mean the holidays are fun. They're exciting. You have to get in the mood. And some people think that the holidays are overrated. What do you think? Do you think they're overrated? I think a lot of people do think they are, but I myself do not. I think that it's a time for fun and being with celebrating. So I actually don't think that the holidays are overrated like some people do. I just don't. Only because I love them. They've changed a lot for us with our family because my daughter has moved to Kansas. Just things change, and you have to be able to accept that change. But some seem to think that it is overrated. But with all of this, one of the main things that probably the majority of people receive at this time of making memories is not wrapped in pretty paper with ribbon, but it is stress and anxiety. There was a movie with Mel Brooks, and it was called High Anxiety. Oh, gosh. It's a funny movie if you ever have the chance to find it and rent it. Do people rent movies online still? I think they do. But anyway, it's just a funny movie. But anyway, so I will be the first to admit to you that our Christmas lights were put on our house before Halloween. But that's only because the business that puts them on, they're firefighters, and this is one of their side jobs. And they are really, really busy. And so we actually are lucky to be on first on their list to get it over with for them. But not to worry, we turned them on only for Halloween for fun. But as of November 14th, we have not lit those suckers, although it is so tempting to go plug them up, put the timer on. And some houses in our neighborhood actually already have their decorations like on their yards. And I still have my fall stuff. It is still fall, so I don't know how long I can keep that because I like the decorations, but back to the stress and anxiety of the holidays. It is a stressful, and trust me, your kids, your family members will have no idea what you as an adult, parents, will be going through just to make it all merry and bright. If it is such a thing for you not to be stressed, I'm give me your secret. But it is a joyous time, and why do we get so stressed and anxious? It's fun, it's exciting. Well, here is my opinion. And for you new listeners, here's my disclaimer that I am not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, a life coach. These are only my opinions. And you may agree, you may not, and that's okay. But I will tell you some reasons for stress and anxiety is that we want everything to be the most wonderful time of year for all those we love. And we want everything to look like a movie on the Hallmark Channel where everything and every day on their movies is a fairy tale. We get stressed and anxious about gift giving, being with family, being with friends, parties, and the big one for many family members is the financial pressure. And some of us, I used to be guilty of this, spend above and beyond, and they can't even afford Christmas. So it is their Christmas debt. Yay! Great way to start the new year. It's family and friends. Who would make us feel like this? Why? Why do we feel like this? They love us. We love them. But unfortunately, some people, meaning family and friends, expect a big hoopla of gifts and food and cheer. Now, I say, have plenty of cheer first, and I mean plenty. Then you have the food, and by the time the gift exchange is over, they won't care if they got pencils. They'll be so schnockered. They was like, yeah, I got a set of pencils. But it is rough on so many, and we don't want to disappoint anyone. But if they are family and good friends, you just have to be honest and tell them that the holiday madness is stopping this year. It's about being together. And honestly, it's okay to take a break just to want to be with family and friends, or just friends or family. People had it right many years ago by giving figgy pudding for Christmas. Although I think they still do that in Europe. And it's the British tradition. If you have never heard of figgy pudding, like I said, it's a British tradition. It has 13 ingredients in it. Now that's a lot of ingredients, but not really. It could be worse. And it has a symbol, and it is the symbol of Christ and the 12 apostles. It is like a cake with spices and dried fruits, kind of like our fruit cake. I've never had it, but I've seen it, and you see it in the Muppets Christmas. Yes, I watch that every year. But the Christmas Carol movie, with Bob Cratchit. But think of how simple that would be to make those and just be done with shopping. That you didn't have to go shop for 15 people, 4 people, 2 people. You just made figgy pudding. Could you imagine just making gifts instead of having to purchase gifts, and more gifts? And actually enjoy being with each other, like sharing stories of the past or sharing, what's going on in your life. Oops, sounds like a Hallmark movie. Don't get me wrong. I love Hallmark movies. We love watching them. My husband watches them with me. I think he's just being kind. But it is so important that we let our kids know, especially our kids when they're young. Let them know ahead of time. Santa can only bring so much. And some kids want and want and want, and we have done this. And now not everyone. There are people that just are by the book. You get one gift, that's it. Let's move on. I don't know any of those people, but I'm sure that there are, and that's how it should be. That's how it was when we were growing up. You got one special gift, and you were thrilled. You may have gotten some other gifts, but you got one big gift. And we just want to make them happy. And so we give them things and we give them more things. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's easier to hand over all the goods that the kids want, that they ask for or they really want because the neighbor has it. And if they don't get it, you're going to have to deal with a tantrum, and you don't want to do that. Ding, ding, ding. Another cause for stress, right? By our kids. Do we have a growth caring too much or concerned ourselves over parenting and social media because we're trying to keep up with the newest thing that our kids need to have? Now, actually, remember, that's usually not a need, it's a want. And we're trying to keep up with everyone else, with the Joneses, with the Hernandez, with the Schultzes, with the, you know, who knows? You're just trying to keep up with people. But we don't have to keep up with people. We just don't. Make your own Christmas. Material things can and have become too important in our lives and in your kids' lives, such as our phones. I know I'm always talking about phones, and new listeners, I'm always talking about phones and how sometimes it's like our lifeline. That's what keeps us going throughout the day. 30 years ago, we weren't doing this. I'm sure your life was different. So I literally just want to share this with you. I literally saw this little one, and I'm not going to say like the kid wasn't, it was a small child, but it wasn't like a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old. It was an older kid, and he literally threw a big fit, big tantrum in the middle of the store. Guess why? Because mommy would not give him her phone in the store. Yikes. So what happened to us? Being a parent or an adult is stressful enough. So honestly, we sometimes do this to ourselves. And sometimes it's easier to avoid the stress by letting them, or the stress of a tantrum, or just avoiding anything. And it's easier to give in. It is. And a lot of people, you talk to them now, and they're like, oh, I would have never done that with my kid. Yeah, you probably would have if you would have had the technology we have now. But don't you wonder how many parents just keep smiling during these holidays and look like they have no anxiety and no stress? And you wonder, what? How? How are they doing this? Well, I seem to think that they are on antidepressants or drinking or both. And I'm not kidding. I am serious. I'm not promoting you to do this. But this is how so many people deal with life. And it is hard, but it's easier to pop a pill or take a swig than to have to deal with reality. Not to mention how we have to deal with parents, our parents. Well, my parents are gone, but I remember both, my husband's parents are gone too. The parents, as we all know, some moms and dads can be controlling. Luckily, my mom and dad were not here, and they were controlling at the house because they were parents. But they passed away when I was younger. So, but they just weren't. I mean, once you're an adult, they were able to say, go spread your wings, go fly. But they were always there. But there are some parents that will make you feel guilty for not spending more time with them, especially during the holidays. Or why haven't you called? You do need to make an effort to call your parents at least once a week if you don't. I think that's so important. I used to talk to my mom every single day. But again, it's hard when your kids get married because you do have to be, flexible. And like I said, for Thanksgiving, you need you can be thankful any day of the week. Well, anyway. Try to compromise. Talk to your parents. You're an adult now. You should be able to talk to your parents about anything and everything. Hey, guess what? We decided we're going to stay home, but could we come and see you the day before? And if they say, but everyone's coming on Thanksgiving. I know, but we want to come the day before. We can come the day after and have leftovers. You've got to be able to stand up to your parents. They have to understand they've done well. You're an adult. You have a family, and you're trying to start some traditions of your own. But some parents, that's a really hard thing for them to do. But whatever you do, don't tick them off and upset them. You don't want to do that during the holidays. Um, again, I think everyone should be able to talk to their parents about anything at any age. Um, now, again, some parents just won't bend, but I'm sorry, they just won't. I have been married for 40 years, and sometimes I will tell my husband, well, here we are, back where we started. And it's not so bad because it's just us two. Um, we still like each other. Of course, I love him, but we got to like each other. Like, we just like each other. We like being together. And you have to like that someone, again, to be together that long. I love him more than he will ever know. Ah, sounds like a Hallmark movie, right? But it's true. I do love him so much. So how do I handle stress? You probably wonder, how do I do this? And yes, anxiety during the holidays. Some might say to meditate, but some of us just don't have time or make the time. And I literally take a deep breath and several deep breaths, and I take vitamin B complex. I don't know who told me to do this many moons ago, but I do that when I start feeling stressed out or St. John's wort. They just actually help me. It's supposed to be good for reducing stress and good for your moods and reduce symptoms of anxiety or depression. And does it work? Maybe, or maybe it's just psychological. And in my head, it works. So if it works for me, I'm doing it. Now, if you want to try this, make sure you talk to your doctor first. Tell them you would like Henrie's Fix for the holidays and vitamin B complex and exercise for stress relief and read or watch a funny movie. That's always a good thing is to go watch a funny movie. But my other trick is and I am serious about this, I usually will have a beverage to help me realize, wait, what am I thinking? It's not like I'm going to be thrown into a dungeon with some wild animal or animals. It's family and friends to celebrate the birth of Christ, the real meaning of Christmas. That's it. So, my husband and I don't really give each other gifts anymore. We're past that. So, but this is what I tell him. The gift he has, he sleeps with every night, and I sleep with mine. Literally, we're sleeping. So, done and done. That's how easy our gift giving is. So, we will buy something for the house if we have a chance or feel the need to buy something that we need. But again, life is short. Of course, you hear this all the time. We need to focus again more on the reason for the season, as they say. Where am I getting at? Life is short around, work on your life, around your life for the holidays. That's what you need to try to do. And some people dread the holidays, as I said, and that's really sad. And just remember, life is short and we aren't promised tomorrow. Make the best of who you are and what you are. Love your kids. Make those good memories that you have. And for some of those that didn't have the best parents growing up, I am sorry, but know that you are worth so much to so many and know how important you are to me. I love sharing my time with you, and I thank you again for listening to my thoughts. I appreciate all of you. And again, I, I just want you to know that these holidays can be stressful, and no matter what we do, no matter what we say, they just are. As some of you know, not everyone, but I have been doing this for 3 years, which is insane. I will start year 4 in March. And I thank you again for listening. But I do have some past Christmas podcasts if you want to hear those. One of them is called The Good and the Bad of Christmas. And that's episode 57. That was like the first year I think I did it. And then the one from last year, no, it doesn't really matter, is episode 105. So, yeah, 57 was the first year, and then 10, episode 105, Christmas Chaos, because I think it's just important to talk about Christmas and the stress of that. And a lot of my podcasts do. I do talk about stress and anxiety because I know a lot of people suffer from it, and I honestly, that's very sad that they do. Um, but the other thing is, one I do have one. Don't buy any pets for your kids for Christmas. I have another podcast on that. It's just not fair to the pet. It's not fair for a dog. It's not fair for a cat or gerbil because they want these things. And, just as parents, we have enough things going on in our life. You will probably be the main caregiver of this pet. And there are way too many pets in the shelters, and people want to spend lots of money for a pup, but there are some people that wind up giving them to shelters. So anyway, that's my thing on the little Christmas. Please don't really consider it before you do any of this on pet buying for Christmas. And one more short thing that is really important, and back to 'tis the season, as hard as it can be with family, sometimes don't take this time for granted with them. Why? Well, you never know what is in store for you, for them within the next year, the next week, the next day, the next hour. And unfortunately, in a drop of a hat, they or you could become ill, might move to another state, move to another country, or they could be passing through those pearly gates. Now, sometimes those little things that we take for granted are taken away. So again, try to compromise and remember all the things that your parents, grandparents, or many family members or friends even have or may have done for you. Maybe to help you to be where you are in life, or to um, help you be there when you need help, just for listening ear or a shoulder to cry on. We have to realize that family and friends are so important, no matter what was said in the past or what was done. And some people say some very hurtful things to people. And yes, words do hurt. Forget the sticks and stones will hurt me and words cannot, but they can. I'm sure you all know the sayings. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. They do hurt. I don't know who made that up because it is ridiculous. Psychologically, it can mess a person up in their head, break their heart. So please, 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 if you get in one of those situations during this time of year, which is crazy that this happens. I mean, people get angry with each other. Just walk away. Be the better person. And just say, okay. Whatever you do, don't say it with a grin or smile because that ticks people off too. But I think it is just so important to remember that this is such a wonderful time of year. And I know I keep saying that, but it is. But of course, each and every day is a gift. But again, we need to learn to forgive. And it's hard to forgive. I think many of us know this. It's very hard to forgive and move on with life. But then our life is, is important. So we need to be able to teach ourselves to do this. And this is something that, please, please, whatever you do not, and I repeat, do not, and I'm doing quotation marks and highlighting it and underlining, do not bring up politics during your visits or gatherings. Politics can literally ruin a family and friends' relationship. I don't know what it is. Why? Someone had written something on Facebook, and they were talking about what kind of cults do you believe that people believe? And some said, oh, the Republican cults, oh, the Democrat cults. So, of course, my reply was political worshipers. People get so involved in and they don't know enough about this person. This is my theory on my thoughts, I guess, on political people, whatever. And that is, we really don't know these individuals unless you're someone in the political life where you are involved or something. But I don't think I have any senators or governors or mayors listening to me. Perhaps, I don't think so. But people believe everything. And they don't even know us. They don't know us. And yet, I really like to believe that our leaders would try to think of each individual, which is hard. But forget it. I don't like to talk politics. But anyway, politics can ruin families and friends' relationships. And I may not like who is in office. I may not like who will be in office. Well, I will respect the position and pray really, 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 really hard for that person to be guided by godly decisions. And that's all I have to say about family and politics. It's just so stinking important not to bring, and you think, and religion for some. But usually, if you're together for Christmas, that means you're a believer of Christ and you believe about Jesus. So you should be able to, but you may not believe about, agree with everything that a certain religion does. And yeah, that's your prerogative. You get to think that, but some people don't want to hear it. And if you feel any of that tension during these gatherings time, you know what? Just be the better person again. Walk away. Oh, I need to go to the restroom. Oh, I need to go get some water. There's always an excuse to walk away. So now that I have either depressed you or made you think, why am I so scared to talk to my parents? Trust me, I am with you on that. I am still scared to tell my parents things and they are in heaven. Hello. I was like, oh no. Oh, I got to tell mom something. She probably already knows. But I have no idea how parents just know things. They just know. And what and don't you know, remember growing up, they just knew what you'd already done. And so they just know parents even know stuff you don't even live with them and they know this, right? So on that note, I hope that you have some wonderful time with family and friends. Or if you choose to be alone and watch Hallmark movies, I think that's great too. I want everyone to have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving whenever you listen to this podcast. And I really hope that you remember I am thinking of you. I will be praying for you because we all have something going on in our life. And most importantly, for me to tell you, you are a blessing and I am thankful for you. And I will see you next week on Ticket to Life. And thank you for listening. This is Henrie.